We are the global leader in direct-to-consumer e-commerce. So we enable some of the biggest brands in the world to grow their business internationally, to scale into new countries. I feel like we're only scratching the surface in terms of potential.
So just on leadership for a second, right? Are they born or are they created?
I believe you have a natural disposition to lead. Like my job now is to lead, so to work with those experts, to get out of their way, to enable them. Like for me, the most important attribute of leadership, like by a million miles, is communication.
How is AI changing the landscape of leadership?
With each new LinkedIn announcement, the pressure on the CTO grows. I absolutely believe that AI is changing the world and every single company has to have an AI strategy. I think the potential is enormous. I think we're starting to see benefits in games, but I do think a little bit that it's over-exaggerated on LinkedIn and all these types of platforms.
You're very welcome. Thanks for saying yes to our Leadership in Tech podcast. Great to see you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Neil. I know you told me before the camera started rolling that I was your dream guest, so here I am today making dreams come true.
Oh gosh! Oh, what a moment to start. Touch me there. It's really good. You've had a fairly interesting story, and we're going to get into that, right? But kind of summarize it a little bit for me, because like there was UL, University of Limerick, and then you kind of ended up going to Denmark and doing a whole different thing, and now you're like the CTO of like a proper global tech business, right?
Yeah.
So where do you want to start? Yeah. Want to start at the beginning? How you did you fall into IT? Were you very clear on what you wanted to do in college? Take me back a little bit if you don't mind.
Yeah, so it started at the beginning. Yeah, unfortunately I don't have one of these super cool stories that some of the other tech CTOs have, where they were programming games when they were 3 years old. That wasn't me. I was very much a sporty guy when I was younger, but I was in secondary school. We had a career, this is as simple as this. We had a career advisor. I went into him one day and he said, "Eoin, what do you want to be when you grow up?" And I said, "I haven't got a clue." And then he said, "Well, what are you good at, Eoin?" At school. So I was good at maths, I was good at physics, I was good at technical drawing. And he said to me, "Eoin, you are going to be an engineer." And that was pretty much it. Like, I guess I always wanted a career that would take care of myself financially and all the stuff, the security that everybody wants. But that was basically it. And then I lived in Galway, from Galway, wanted to maybe move away for university, but not go too far.
Sure,
I wanted to come home on the weekends and get my clothes washed and stuff like that, and get a few quid for the next week. Went to Limerick, absolutely loved it there. Amazing university. To this day, probably some of the best times of my life. And I think university teaches you skills that you probably aren't aware of at the time. I mightn't necessarily with some crazy stuff like semiconductors and solid state physics and crazy maths and stuff like that. But that isn't really what you learn. You learn how to solve problems and how to stay the course to something that's tough and get a degree at the end. And I guess you learn how to interact and socialize with people. And yeah, that's basically
crack as well, yeah.
Unbelievable crack. But I remember
you hear good things about the UL.
Yeah, but I think there's a sort of a story around this two types of people who get a good degree, right? There's the person who is unbelievably smart and works incredibly hard, and he's set an elective, or she is set an elective or a project to do. And they read it and they study it and they go online and they work night and day and they work so hard themselves, and then they ship it in 2 weeks' time on the dime, and it's amazing. And the lecturer gives them they get their A1 degree. These guys they're geniuses, right? Yeah. And then you've got the other guy who maybe is a bit more social or whatnot, or maybe is a bit more street smart, and he's like that's lecturer. Most lecturers, they don't really want to lecture, they want to do research. So the lecturers they're getting aside, and they give the same project every year. And that social guy knows that project happened last year, and he knows Neil was in last year's class and he did it. And he goes and talks to Neil and he said, "Hey Neil, what did you do?" And then he probably puts in a quarter, a third the effort, submits the project in time, because he still wants to do well. He might get a a B1 as opposed to an A1. But like when you're in the workforce or you're hiring people, what type of person do you want? Like, do you want the person who maybe has a bit of a intuition and like works through people and with people, or the person who's an absolute genius? Now, I'm not saying you don't need geniuses, you absolutely do, but there's a combination of both that you require. So I think I was very much in the second category of working with people, and even to this day, like it's all about people, really, isn't it?
Definitely. And I know you kind of went into QA and QA consulting, and it kind of started in that, but then how did the gig in Saxo Bank, isn't it?
Saxo Bank, yeah.
How did that manifest? What was the story there? Because you ended up in Copenhagen, right?
Yeah, exactly. So my...
that's, Galway, Limerick. I mean, a little bit further.
Galway, Limerick, Australia.
Australia then.
Yeah, so did the typical Irish thing of finish university, go abroad for a year, travel.
Working, or was that was crack?
No, that was travel, crack.
Yeah.
And whatnot.
Life,
a year abroad. Life, yeah, amazing time. Met my now wife, girlfriend in Brisbane. We came back. We lived in Dublin for a bit. Worked in Dublin. That was the first job, and then moved to Sweden. Worked for 2 years there at Nordea, a big retail bank in Scandinavia. And then I said, okay, I want to set up my own company, just like a contractor. Went contracting, happened to stumble on the job in Copenhagen with Saxo Bank, was there for 7 years. And
that's when you got into leadership though, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I absolutely loved it over there. Like, it was founded by two of the most successful entrepreneurs in Copenhagen, or in Denmark. They were the co-founders, co-CEOs. And it was like the pace was relentless, the pressure was extreme, and I loved it. Like didn't have kids at the time, didn't have any responsibility, so I worked like
you're working hard, yeah. You put the
extremely hard, but it was sort of like work hard, play hard type of thing. Like if you did well, you were rewarded. If you didn't do well, like you didn't last there. Happened to stumble on the first day, met a manager, like worked with him for 7 years, and he was really successful, good leader, learned so much from him. And as he progressed up the ladder, he brought me along with him. So started to lead big teams. Like
so he backed you though, but he was a role model.
100%.
He was coaching and developing you.
Exactly.
And when you look back, maybe perhaps there was...
Yeah, exactly. But right through my career, I've been lucky to work in... really lucky to work in some amazing companies with some amazing leaders. I'd like to think I have a lot of natural leadership traits myself, like as in how I am as a person, my values, I guess, how I communicate, how I deal with people. But then you observe great leaders, like, in Cartroller in particular, where I am now, Saxo, and you see some stuff that you're like, you like or you want to replicate, and you observe and you learn, you reflect, you get better. Like when I was younger, my skill set was being an engineer and getting shit done, and like be the guy who gets shit done, and then naturally progression happens. They'll give you more to do. Instead of doing one project, they'll give you two projects. Exactly. Instead of running one team, it'll be multiple teams. It'll be running a department. So just be the guy or girl who gets stuff done. Like take accountability, take ownership, no excuses, and then that gets you to a certain point in your career. But then it becomes the guy who gets the stuff done. That becomes the trait or the skill set that holds you back from leading more people. So now when I originally was an engineer and getting stuff done, now my skill set is being a leader and getting stuff done through other people. And it's a completely different...
But when did that kind of, not the penny drop, but when did that become... Sorry, let me take a step back. So just on leadership for a second, right? Are they born or are they created?
Yes, a good question. Nature or nurture? I believe you have a natural disposition to lead. Like I think throughout my career, I've seen so many managers, but not so many leaders.
Okay.
Like managers manage, leaders lead, people follow leaders. In my view, it's a completely different skill set to management. So I think, as I said, I think I had some natural traits that hopefully make me a good leader, and then other stuff is learned. And I worked with a coach as well, for example, to build up my leadership skills and to understand how I can become better. I still learning, always trying to get better. But so I think it's a bit of both learned but certainly some natural attributes as well.
But at the point where you were the realization that, okay, I can keep being an individual contributor, I can keep being the engine, I can keep getting shit done, and it's been recognized and people are throwing more stuff at me, which is great. But now I want to lead, and I want to lead through people. Like, what was that like a gradual thing, or was it like an epiphany moment where you're like, oh, okay, this is different now, and I need to learn this, and then I need to learn that? Or is it again, more, probably it's not as obvious as kind of...
Yeah, probably not as obvious, and maybe it happened a bit organically. I think where I became more conscious of being a leader was at Car Trawler.
Yeah.
So
who are they?
Car Trawler, an amazing company, B2B travel technology company. They're the best in the world at what they do. Really, really clear culture, clear vision of where they're going. Amazing leaders. I actually...
you referenced him already. So
a lady I worked with previously called Sylvie McDermott. She's now the CEO of Forest. She'd worked in Paddy Power back in the day, and I worked with her in Currency Fair. She said, "Oh, and you need to work at Car Trawler," because she knew a lot of the Paddy Power gang, and I guess sort of like people who enjoy themselves, work hard, like don't take themselves too seriously, have fun, but like they're unbelievably professional as well, and want to win, and they're driven, and like that type of culture, like that fits my personality. So I was lucky enough to get in the door there, and then worked with some like amazing leaders, like from, I don't know, like John O'Donnell, Peter O'Donovan, Cormac Barry, Aileen McCormack. Like I'll miss names here, but like all like amazing people, so successful, and you can't but learn from them and see, okay, like what do I need to maybe tweak or do a little bit better from them. And I'll give examples. Like so currently I lead a team. I went from leading a team of maybe 120 at Car Trawler. I now have a team of 500. Like it's a completely different scale. So when you've got a team of 120 people, you sort of know everyone, and you can have a relationship with everyone. And if something was wrong, I know, okay, I'll go to Johnny over here. When you're leading 500, like it's different ballgame. I can't have a relationship with everyone. Like it's not possible, right? So I remember in Car Trawler, Cormac, at the CEO at the time, used to send out these weekly updates. So we just like a letter from Cormac, an email, one pager. So we talk about, okay, this is what's important in Car Trawler right now, what he's been working on the last week. It'll do something that he's specifically himself has been working on or he's focused on. It'll give a little nugget about his personal life. Maybe you might say something like, I don't know, he's going on holidays with the kids, or like his daughter won a hockey match or something. And I just thought, like, standing back, I was like, that was really clever, like, because he's sort of like opening the door to him. He's getting the key messages across, but he's also like, people sort of understand who he is, and like, okay, he's got the same challenges in life that we all have, you know, logistics of bringing kids to matches or challenges at school or whatnot. So now that I lead a team of 500 people, I do the same thing. So I, maybe not every week, I'm too busy about that scale yet, but I try to send an update every couple of weeks so that people who don't maybe get to meet me every day or work with me every day could understand, okay, well, what is important for ESW right now, what's Owen working on, etc. And also that they know I've got the same challenges as them. Like, you know, I've got 4 small kids that I try to manage being a CTO with, like being a CTO of a big tech company. Like it's
so a big tech company,
incredibly busy and hard and complex, and like you never switch off. Like at least I never switch off. Like you could be driving your son to a hurling match and you're thinking of, okay, I need to send that mail on Thursday. I need to get back to Gav on that thing that we're doing for a particular client. Like you never ever switch off. But like that's me. Like, and I have got my things that like I don't maybe even see it as work. It's just life. And if I'm committed to something, I'm committed to it. And you still need to achieve balance. Like I still need to be with my kids. I love being on the sideline on the weekend and watching them playing their matches. I coach one of my son's soccer teams. Try to see my wife every now and then to say hello and how she's doing. Like you gotta have that balance. Like mental health is a big thing as well. Like you could take what I do is like most people view it as like hyper pressure, like all the time, big board meetings, traveling to clients around the globe, trying to balance that with being a good dad and all these type of things. Like you could say it's extreme pressure. So you got to think of your mental health as well, and like how do you
see it as that though? You know. Like you're saying that people could see it as extreme pressure, but like it's you seem very kind of relaxed. Like I've got to know you a long time, right? And which is but you seem very like in control and in the flow and just kind of cracking on. You know, like it doesn't seem, you don't seem phased by that. You know, so you're referencing maybe what other people might consider,
perceive it. Yeah, exactly.
But what's your? It's just.
I don't hugely feel pressure. Like if I'm going to a big board meeting in Madrid or or Paris or Dublin the next one. I'm going in there.
Podcast recording
A
in
big
Dublin.
podcast, exactly. Being the star of the show, the stuff that I love doing, or a big conference that you present at in front of hundreds of people that travel around the world and stuff. Like, I don't really see it as pressure. Not really. Like
any imposter syndrome?
Oh, loads of all the time. Of course, everybody has imposter syndrome. Like anybody who says they don't are lying. But I guess I'm more conscious now, like working with coaches and stuff of like, I guess my trigger points, and maybe if I am feeling a bit stressed, even though I'm not aware of stress, like again the mental health thing. Like I try to go to the gym 3 or 4 times a week. I do my soccer with the guys on Monday nights, and that's where I completely switch off. Like, so I'm just thinking of, scoring the next goal or making the next tackle. I always feel mentally so much better after it. I know you do it as well, but like it's a complete, like your kids don't exist for that hour in time. Your wife doesn't exist. I know they exist, but like in your head, you're so focused on something else that allows you to switch off, and then but I think it's really important to have that balance. And the other thing is, as I become a leader and transition from the single contributor or the great individual, is like understanding that your job isn't to do everything anymore. It's to lead, it's to build a strong team around you. And then there's other skills that you develop that like make life a little bit more, or should make life a little bit easier. So again, I worked with a coach, and one thing he taught me was around reflection. I'm not a great man to reflect, or I don't do yoga or anything like that. But like he said to me, on every day when you finish your day, whether you're driving home in the car or you're running home or whatever it is, or you're lying in bed at night, just take 5 minutes to think, what did I spend my time on today? Like what did you do? Like literally, was it sending an email? Was it creating a report? Was it in a meeting? Was it doing a town hall? Was it being a superstar on a podcast? Like whatever you were doing. But like the question he would ask is, were you the right person to do that? Not that you didn't do it well. I bet you wrote that email well. I bet you did well on your podcast. I bet you did a good town hall. But were you the right person to do it? Because I've got a team of 500 people. I've got 6 direct reports. They're like senior directors, VPs. They're very senior, experienced people. Like if I'm doing stuff, maybe I'm taking away stuff that they should be doing. Like if I'm digging into a production incident or maybe a big client issue or an onboarding, it's like, no, well, maybe that was Gav's job or that was Bill's job. And it's good intention, but as a leader, you're meant to be leading through people. You're meant to be growing other leaders. So always reflecting that, like, again, because I could do a billion things. I could get involved in everything, but that's not my job anymore. My job is to get stuff done through other people. And frankly, if you're doing that, you're micromanaging, you're disempowering, you're not helping them grow, and you become an executor, you become a tactical guy, as opposed to the strategic guy who's leading a team of 500 people, an investment of 70 million euro on an annualized basis. Like, that's where my head should be. My job really should be working with the executive team to grow the company. It's not to run technology. Technologies are like taken for granted. Like, that's table stakes. Of course you're taking care of technology, but my job is at the strategic executive level to grow the company. So all those skills help you become a better leader, help you survive, and then a bit of reflection. And I am conscious of mental health and physical health. And if I get a little bit antsy or feel the pressure, it's normally because, 1, I'm getting too involved in the weeds, take a step back. And then 2, did I get to the gym on Tuesday? Did I do my soccer on Wednesday? Like, if I don't do those things for a couple of days, it definitely catches up on me. So your awareness is a lot more now than it would have been years ago.
I want to talk about that transition when you become like that sort of proper C-suite effective leader left and right. But before I do that, because you've touched on the big technology company, and I want to talk about the big technology company that is eShop World, this global
ESW.
Yeah. Formerly known as.
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
caught that out. Teed it up well wrong.
Exactly.
ESW are a really great Irish success story, right? And I've been doing this buzz for 18 years. And like, when I look at other amazing success stories, tech success stories, like I believe there should be more, right? shouting from the rooftops about the success of that business over a certain period of time. So I want to take this opportunity to actually give them a little bit of a shout out, but from your perspective, because you've come in, over there, is it a year?
Just actually a year and 2 days or something like that.
Is it? Yeah,
exactly. I survived.
So who are they actually, right? The C elevator pitch.
Yeah, exactly.
CTO
we are the global leader in direct to consumer e-commerce. So we enable some of the biggest brands in the world to grow their business internationally, to scale into new countries seamlessly. Like I think we're absolutely too humble, like even internally. It's something that I've never been accused of.
Hey?
But it's an amazing company, like so successful, founded in 2010 by Tommy Kelly, one of the great innovators and entrepreneurs in Ireland, one of the most successful people like probably ever to come out of Ireland, grown from the real basics to like 1,000 people, headquartered in Ireland, hubs in Madrid and New York, like genuinely working with some of the biggest brands in the world. And I feel like we're only scratching the surface in terms of potential. Like we've massive aspirations for the next couple of years in terms of what we want to achieve, how we're going to grow, where we're going to grow. It's just, again, maybe to simplify it, like how do I describe ESW to my family and friends? It's like, let's just say, Neil, I know you were a dancer back in the day, right? Let's just say you had a dance shoe brand and it was really successful in Ireland, the UK and the US, and you wanted to grow internationally. Like how do you grow that internationally? Like you've got, localization challenges, you've got website challenges, you've got trade and compliance challenges, you've got regulatory reporting challenges, you've got tax challenges, you've got all the different payment methods, you've got different languages, you've got customer support, you've got the logistics of how do I get that shoe from Letterkenny to my new customer in Sydney? What if that customer gets the shoe and it's size 6 but it's too small and he wants a size 7, he needs to return it? What if that customer is waiting for too long and he wants to know, where's my order? Like, we do all of that, like that entire chain. Like the technology platform is like, and product offering is so broad and so compelling, built up over 15 years. And as I said, the biggest brands on the planet, like, you walk down the high street in Dublin, like they work with us, they trust us to grow their business. And we're a real enterprise player as well. So I think that's our biggest differentiator. So like we give the white glove treatment, like we build new capabilities and new features for our brands. We grow with them. We don't just onboard them. We continue to trade their business, to add new capabilities. We work in a really, really fast-paced environment, with AI changes and agentic and all this type of stuff that's happening right now. Like we need to be at the coal face of that. So really exciting company, really successful company, like Irish based, but like touch 200 countries around the world. Like it's, really proud to work for them. And I genuinely feel like exciting couple of years, maybe hopefully more than a couple of years ahead.
Yeah. And how different was it? Like, you referenced some things there when you were CTO of Carl Trawler and then stepping into this CTO role in ESW. What were apart from obviously the size of the teams and the mandate, like what were the other skills or leadership competencies that you had to develop? Is there any things that you could kind of call out that are fundamentally different? Apart from the relationships and the ability to do that, and you touched on some of it, but is there anything else?
Not hugely, man. Like to be honest, like they're very similar companies, like similar cultures, like really driven, really hungry, want to win, want to grow, like provide amazing service for our brands or our clients, as it was back in Car Trawler. B2B, like it's the combination of great humans and great technology. Like that's people sell, like people trust people. That's why you win deals. So there's a very huge overlap in terms of the business, in terms of the challenges from a technology perspective. But it's just with ESW, it's just bigger scale. Like come back to the point of leading a team of 120 to leading a team of 500. Like for me as a leader, that's a different challenge. Like the size of our roadmap is 3 or 4 times bigger. The size of investment is 3 or 4 times bigger. So it's just managing that level of complexity and that size of of change as well, like the people change, the process change, the technology change, the changing landscape of e-commerce. So like trying to manage through all that change and still get stuff done and still be your authentic leader that you want to be, finding time to communicate, understanding, okay, which stuff do I need to get involved in, which stuff do I need to stay out of, that balance again of enabling and empowering your leaders, but also knowing that sometimes you just need to get involved and step in yourself. So scale is the biggest change.
People that engage with this content, usually, they're aspiring leaders. They may be they could be a software development manager or a software product business, but like, geez, I'd love to be a CTO in the next, in the next 5 years when I'm 30, like
you say all the right things. 31, but anyway.
It's setting you up here. But like, I think there's a big difference between probably that aspiration to want to be it and then the reality of maybe. But you called out a lot of stuff there, right? Which, like, it sounds a lot.
I don't think about I don't sit down and think, okay, what's the hardest thing I got to do? But more, if I stand back, it's just the sheer breadth of what you do in technology. Like, you've got infrastructure, security, databases, networking, IT systems, business systems, front-end development, back-end development, QA automation, performance testing, roadmap delivery, prioritization, winning new clients, incidents, production management, growing leaders, hiring, recruitment, performance management, AI. You've got the balance of how do we continue to run the business with like hundreds of these massive brands who've got big expectations on us to continue to add to our platform, to make sure that it's stable, to ensure that it scales, but with also balancing that with winning new business. So what do we need to build to make our proposition more compelling, to enable Tanya and our commercial team to win new deals, to tech debt, to scalability, to capitalization, to proof of concepts, to R&D tax credits, like the breadth of stuff that you need to be over.
And that's just before 10 o'clock in the morning coffee.
Exactly.
You don't even drink coffee,
do you? That was all taken care of this morning. I haven't checked what's the rest of the day. Yeah, but like there's a huge and you're no longer the expert in anything. Like the fact of the matter is, I am no longer an expert in any of those things. Like my job now is to lead, so to work with those experts to get out of their way, to enable them. And then you've got the business. Frankly, in all businesses, people sort of know technology, but they don't really know it. Like they don't really understand what you need to do from a security perspective, from a ransomware perspective, from like how do I make sure that I get time, that my team gets time to take care of that technology challenge and requirements while also balancing the needs of the business. Like my job, ultimately, I won't be judged on security. I mean, I might be fired because of a security issue, or I won't be judged on scalability. I'll be judged on, is the business growing? Like that's my job. I'm on the exec team. Our job is to grow the business, hit our growth targets, ensure that as we're growing, we're keeping our costs under control. Like that's like my ultimate success criteria. It's part of the executive leadership team, but all the other stuff like has to be taken care of. So how do you balance that? How do you keep sane? How do you make sure you're not dropping the ball? And you can only do that through having good leaders around you, and they having good leaders around them, and enabling them to do their job, and having the right, objective set for your team, and getting the balance right. Like that's the biggest challenge, I think. And then you feel like, personally, I feel such ownership for everything. And ownership, and I guess pride as well. Like, you've got like, this is my team. I want to make sure that they're engaged, that they're doing good work, that we're doing the right work, that we're investing in the right areas. Like, I've got a responsibility, maybe 70 million euros a year invested in tech and ESW. Like, is that 70 million euros being invested in the right places? Like, that's on my shoulders. Yeah. So yeah. Actually, I probably need to do some workout right now. I'm getting stressed thinking about all this stuff.
Just stop.
No, but it is. But like that's what you do, and
that's what you signed up to.
Yeah. Exactly. But I'm like, I love it.
Clearly.
The second I don't feel like I'm engaged, or I'm not thinking about stuff, or it's easy, or I'm not challenged, or I feel like the company is not going to grow, then I know my time is up. Like it's time for me to leave or to go on to something new, or people will see it in me, because like I also feel like as a leader, like you've got an obligation to bring energy, be the guy who gets stuff done, who finds solutions, who enables and empowers people to get stuff done, and you have to be that nearly every day.
It's relentless, isn't it?
Yeah, relentless. 365 days a year, I check my email. 365 days a year, I check Slack. 365 days a year, I'm on. If I'm on my holiday, I bring my laptop with me. and I don't feel bad about it. I'd feel bad if I didn't, or maybe there's a production incident. We actually had one. I was on a holiday recently, and we have very few incidents at ESW. Like, we put a lot of focus on quality, but there was one, and I was out in the veranda in the Canary Islands from like 5 o'clock in the evening until 11:30 at night on a call. And like, I couldn't fix the issue. I could just help the guys and ensure that we're communicating correctly. But like, that's what you sign up for. I'd have been way more stressed. Sorry, not that I stressed too much, but like, if I wasn't involved, I didn't know what was going on. But like, that's part of being a CTO. It's in a big company. It is all consuming. I don't think there's another way to have that type of role.
How you learn and develop to communicate really well, right? Yeah. Up and left and right. Like, you touched on some of that, right? Yeah. But it does come up a lot when I chat to leaders and whether they're director of engineering, VP of engineering, or VP product, VP, and they're climbing the ranks into that CTO type role. What have you learned, or what advice could you give leaders, like that ability to communicate up, right? So say you're presenting to a board, left and right, thinking of those other function areas. You've touched on ones there on the commercial, like that ability to do that well. It's not that easy, actually, for that many, right? Yeah. If people that are very honest with me do say that that's something that they get in coaching and they get in development. What have you got any recommendations or advice yourself, or things that you've learned? Maybe even some scars. I don't know.
Exactly.
Get vulnerable for me.
Exactly. Is there a book I should read or something?
Shit, no one's going to cry.
I think. Oh my God! Yeah, I think. Like, for me, the most important attribute of leadership, like by a million miles, is communication, right? And and there's so many different strands to it. Again, I think it's a lot of it is learned, and you see what good communication is. It's like, how do you run a meeting? How do you keep 500 people engaged? How do you let people know what's important? How do you communicate stuff that's going badly? How do you communicate stuff that's going great? Like, how do you recognize it? Like, in Ireland, we're probably the Irish trait of being humble. Like, we're quite reluctant to call out the stuff that's going great. We often focus on the stuff that isn't going so great, but like, you miss an opportunity then to recognize great work that is happening all the time, and to reflect on the positive stuff that is happening. So I'm probably going around in circles here, but like, I have a leadership strategy, or I've got a plan for how I communicate and how I run my team.
So it's very deliberate.
Yeah, very
conscious of it.
I'll give examples. Again, learned behavior, and like in Cartroller, again, we used to every single day. I hope I'm not sharing too many secrets here, but like the leadership team had a WhatsApp group, and every single morning, you would say, here are the 3 most important things that I'm working on today. Wow. Every single morning. So that means, I know what Andrew's dealing with big client X, or he's in London trying to win a particular deal, or this person is doing skip level 1-to-1s, or this person is looking at our engagement survey. So what the different functions are doing. So not alone do whenever you know what's going on, and you might say, okay, that thing that's happening in London, geez, I really should I need to know what's happening from a tech perspective there. So it triggers you. So it's like, it's connection and communication and collaboration, and you've got a sense of team. So now we've got a team. My direct team are based in Ireland. We've got somebody based in the UK. We've got somebody that runs our hub in Madrid, and we've got somebody is in Copenhagen, and all friends. So I've got a globally distributed team. Like, that's my own direct team. So every single day in the morning, we use Slack as opposed to WhatsApp. But the guys go, okay, here are the 3 things that I'm focused on today, the most important stuff that I'm working on today. So again, sense of connection, sense of, okay, Matt knows what Lars is doing. Oh, geez, I need to get involved in that thing that we're looking at for, again, particular client or strategic tech item that we're working on. There's a bit of fun involved. Okay, I told the guys this morning that I'm coming on a podcast to star for Neil. I'm going to the Ireland-Portugal match tonight. Come on, you boys in green. Although I'm sure, I'm going to predict here we're going to get hammered. But anyway, no. It's true. It's just connection, engagement, a sense of what's going on. Then every week we have a weekly team meeting. We talk about the issues issues du jour, what we need to be focused on, any stuff that we need to escalate or highlight to the execs, etc. We have the team meeting. Then every 6 months we have an offsite where we get together and we focus on how we work as a team, not necessarily what we're working on, but how we work, how we can get better. The last one we had maybe 3 months ago. And I've only formulated that this team only come together 6 months ago. So we said one of our observations, well, we get so tactical in our weekly. So it's this something that's going live next week, and are we all over that? Or maybe it's preparing for our peak period, which is right now when our brands trade the most amount of volume than any time through the year. It could be, okay, I need to, we're missing some resources on particular teams. It became really, really tactical. It's okay, we're not actually focusing on the big strategic stuff. What are we doing with quality? Like, how are we enabling the company to drive AI? So at that offsite, we took a decision, okay, we're going to split our weekly meetings in two. We're going to have one, which is our tactical, like what's going on, because it still adds value. We need to know what's going on. And then the second meeting now is a strategic meeting. So, okay, we'll agree on 1 or 2 discussion points before that 1 hour. So it could be, again, AI tooling, it could be quality strategy, it could be like whatever. It could be, what are we doing for performance management next year? How are we going to ensure everybody's has got the right goals for 2026? Like those type of items. So it's very like in a way, as you said, structured or thoughtful, like that's how we do it. And then, okay, I work with the guys in terms of how they communicate what their areas are doing, how I communicate to the broader function, from the recurring town halls to the email status updates that I do. And then again, at the exec, we've something similar. I go to exec weekly. We could do an end of week report now, an end of week update. Again, what are the most important things that happened in tech this week? I'll send that to my exec peers. Tanya will do it in commercial, Martin will do it in operations, Mark in finance, Sarah in HR, in his area, and Eric, etc. So we all sort of, again, sense of connection, sense of understanding of what's going on, sense of knowledge of what's important. And then, I guess the board is slightly different. We do that in a regular cadence. But again, maybe it's slightly different audience. But again, being prepared. I don't get stressed or worried about board meetings because I go in there prepared. And again, I would say maybe advice in terms of communication, which was the original question. Although I've rambled. Like be authentic. Like you are who you are. Like I really value honesty and openness. So when I'm communicating, I had a town hall last week yesterday with product and technology. I tell them how we're doing trading. Like I think it's important that they understand our numbers from a revenue perspective, from a trading perspective, from a EBITDA perspective. I think it's important they understand that we're winning new business, because people work in companies like Cartroller and ESW, in my view, because they want to make a difference. Like they want to feel like what they do makes an impact. And when you're at the size we are, Irish headquarters, but like global leaders in what we do, everyone makes a difference. Like every Scrum team that I have that is a part of my team, they work on strategically important initiatives, be it from digital transformation to agentic AI technology to working with our biggest customers to onboarding. There's a direct connection in terms of what they do to how the business performs. Like it's super powerful. Like how this is what engages us. This is what drives us. We all want to win. Like I want to win. Like I want the company to grow. I want to be like, maybe it's ego or maybe it's pride, but I want to be part of success. And that's why I think people work with companies like ESW and Cartroller and like the other great Irish technology companies. It's final one on the authentic stuff. Like one of my great friends and somebody I worked with fairly recently, one advice he gave to me a couple of years ago, he probably doesn't even know, he said, I think we're walking on the corridor and he said, Eoin, when you're doing town halls, just be yourself. Like the way you're like a bit jokey and fun and energy, like always be that person, because that's who you are and that's what people respond to. And that's who I am. Like no matter what I'm presenting, whether it's a town hall or it's a investor meeting or it's at the board, I'll try to say something funny or like bring a bit of energy to the place. And it's amazing how it like brings people, I don't know, takes the tension out. Disarms exactly the right words. Like and I think there's a bit of communication which is about entertainment is the wrong word, but don't be boring. Like if you're presenting or you're doing a town hall, like people just switch off if it's just like black and white. Like it has to be a bit energetic and interesting and what they want to hear. So I think for me, communication, have a strategy, stick to it, do it consistently, tell the bad news and not the good news. Again, that just drives trust. Like, okay, Eoin isn't just saying everything is brilliant all the time. He tells us when stuff isn't so brilliant. Because frankly, most people know anyway. Like they know we didn't win that deal, or they know this customer lost, or they know the trading has been weak this month. Like they know it because most people get those reports, or they work directly with the customers. So just tell them. Like treat people like adults. Of course, there is some stuff you need to be sensitive around, but not much. I think like that builds connection and trust and engagement, and so I think being authentic, having a method or a strategy in terms of how you communicate and doing it consistently, like that's how I would advise.
When you have to make difficult decisions that impact people, right? You know, whether you're right sizing, whether you're, you know, like, look, we want the best for people and we encourage them, we coach them, we develop, but, you know, sometimes we just don't have the right players on the pitch, right? Yeah. And you have to, as a leader, make tough, necessary decisions if you want to win. What's been your learnings? What's been your, I don't know, any advice, any guidance for other leaders, any other aspiring leaders in relation to the reality when you're in ambitious, growth-oriented, winning mentality business? You do have to move people on. Yeah. You do have to right-size your business. You do have threats of opportunities, but you have AI, you know, the landscape perhaps of leadership, of how we build stuff. All that stuff is changing. It's evolving at a rapid pace. Yeah. So maybe some of these things might be intertwined. Yeah. I'd like to hear from you about all of that.
I should laugh at that bomb that's been dropped. Yeah, like, again, it goes back to communication. So communicate. No tough decisions are taken like without an awful lot of thought going into it. And it's not just the people who are impacted, that are directly impacted. It's the people who are indirectly impacted. They want to know, like, why was that decision made? Like again, I come back to people are engaged. They've got pride in the company that they work for. They want to grow. So if they can understand this was a tough decision, I didn't like it. I don't like the fact that my colleague and friend might have had to leave the business, but I understand from a business perspective why that decision was taken. Like it's never easy. I think you got to be open with people. They got to treat people with respect. Follow the process. Like there is process that you need to follow. You need to go through your steps. Trust your HR team that will bring you through the right steps. But again, being human, being authentic. You know, explaining honestly why those decisions were made. A lot of times, it's not because of individuals or poor performance or whatnot. It's because the business is in a certain situation, or maybe they need to invest more in different areas and they don't have the skill sets currently on the team that they need. So you have to make tough decisions for the many that maybe has a negative impact on a few. Like your responsibility is to run the entire company. That's sort of my experience with it anyway.
How is AI changing the landscape of leadership in your view? I mean, you've obviously referenced some product, product stuff and stuff. Of course, a business that's helping the world's brand sell and do a really effective kind of, I mean, e-commerce, of course, there's going to be, but not from park the product stuff for a minute, right? What about how it actually is changing leadership?
AI is changing the world, right? And with each new LinkedIn announcement, the pressure on the CTO grows. Company X are now 5 billion% more effective. And then the next day, they're 6 billion%. And
it's a great point. The noise is incredible.
The noise is incredible. And I take a huge amount of it with a big pinch of salt. Like,
good man.
Don't get me wrong. I absolutely believe that AI is changing the world and every single company has to have an AI strategy. But I think maybe what AI, in terms of output and gains, I'm not sure we're as advanced globally as people make out. I think the potential is enormous. I think we're starting to see benefits in games, but I do think a little bit that it's over exaggerated on LinkedIn and all these types of platforms. You know, every single company the last 3 years, if there's any cuts or reduction in cost, every single one of them says it's AI. So does that mean that in the last 3 years, company have stopped like their revenues? None of them have started to decrease in revenue. It's all AI. And then you read into the company announcements, and a lot of the times, like, it's in preparation for AI. It's being leaner for the amount of change that's happening globally. Anyway, that's maybe the negative side of AI, or the doubting Thomas. But on the other side, AI will change the world. Like, there's absolutely no doubt about it. I think it's going to change pretty much every single job type, from recruitment to education to, you know, healthcare to banking. Everything is going to change, and how we work. And I guess I see it in three realms from ESW and from a technology perspective. You've got AI, and I'll get to leadership in a second. AI for efficiency. So how does Eoin become more efficient and effective with his time by leveraging AI tools? So, like, I've got 40 hours in my week on my contract, probably 80 hours a week in reality. But, like, if I can take 4 of those hours where I'm maybe writing a status update, or where I'm doing a presentation for the board, or I'm preparing for a meeting with a big client, if I could use AI to generate the first draft of those things for me, and it still takes me 1 hour instead of 4 hours, because it gets it to 75%, and then I want to put my flavor on it. Sure. Like, that saves me 3 hours a week. 3 hours out of 40 is almost 10%. Eoin is now 10% more effective, or he's got 10% more time to focus on the strategic stuff that I'd like him to focus on. That's an example how a CTO can be more effective, or a developer. There's a lot of, like, again, every company, every board, including ours, like, okay, how do you make developers and engineering more efficient through technology? And you look at research in terms of where developers spend their time. Like, developers spend, I think the research says they spend around 20% of their time writing code, like, which, like, on a positive setup. So all the research that they do, like unit testing, peer reviews, environment stability, all these type of things. So if we can leverage AI, this is our approach, to maybe to write the unit tests, or to generate automated tests, or to do the document. Every company I've ever worked in, documentation needs to get better. Like, can we use AI to provide better documentation? So all that stuff that today we're sort of doing as part of your job, AI becomes an enabler to do that a lot more effectively. Then that 20% of the time where you're delivering the value-adding new capabilities, or the new features, or scalability, whatever you're doing, you've got more time to do that. So that, to me, is how engineering becomes more efficient. So AI for efficiency, AI for automation. So on a similar theme, but there's lots of stuff where manual work is required to run the business, be it in finance, be it in operations, be it in, you know, customer support. Is there areas there where you could, like, replace or reduce human effort through AI automation? So it's efficiency, automation. Like, there's every single function in every single company right there. And then you've got AI for business transformation. Like, this is where do something completely different that you do today. Like, the world is changing, and from a e-commerce perspective, and the advent of agentic AI. So customer behavior patterns are changing online. So now you go into ChatGPT or whatever it is, and you say, okay, I'm going skiing with my family in March. My kids have outgrown their clothes from last year, so I want to find some good ski jackets for my 14-year-old son and for my 11-year-old son. I don't want to spend. I'm tight with money right now. I don't want to spend. I'm not. I don't want to spend.
Let it all out.
Exactly. You know, they're pretty brand conscious. They like
Help
to
me with my pay review, because I need ski jackets for my kids.
Exactly. But now you're going into ChatGPT, and you're putting in your prompts, and ChatGPT is returning the best jackets for your kids, or here's your options, and you're going to buy them in there. That's a completely different e-commerce experience today, where you go to the brand site, or you go to Amazon, or maybe some social commerce is becoming more prevalent as well. So from business transformation, how do we lead in that area? How do we enable our brands to win in that area? And again, there's different aspects to it. So there's previously in online commerce or companies, like, there's a lot of focus on SEO. So how do you drive traffic to your site through search engine optimization? So, like, in Google that jacket, and it brings me to whatever brand. now there's a new thing called GEO. So search engine optimized. Now it's generative AI engine optimized. So how do I make my content, my brand, my product more Gen AI friendly? So when Eoin searches for that jacket, my brand shows up on the top of the list. So that's a new thing that we're investing a lot of time in. And also once you're in the chat GPT and I like that jacket, and now being able to make that purchase right there in your Gen AI session as opposed to going out to the site to do it. So they're massive transformation. It's every single day you've got announcements from Stripe or Aiden or Shopify or PayPal or OpenAI, like Microsoft. I'm sorry if I've missed any big names. But like it's changing all the time. So how do you get ahead of it? How do you lead? So we're investing heavily in that in ESW as well. So yeah, and in terms of leadership, so again, it's looking at, which was your question around, how do I make all of our teams more effective is the first one. So again, starting with myself, IT, architecture, development, QA, etc. How does everybody look at their role and say, I can be more effective through AI? So maybe how do I find one day a week that I can focus on the business value or the more business value adding stuff as opposed to maybe the more manual stuff that does add business value but could be replaced by technology. That's the big one. Automation, efficiency, automation, and business transformation. That's the way that we look at it. And every single board has, every single CEO, Eric, pings me on a daily basis with a new company that's doing something. So I absolutely get the pressure to do it. You have to have an AI strategy. And again, going back to the balance thing, of course you want to make advances in AI, but you got to run your business. You got to support the new and existing retailers. You got to take care of tech debt. Everybody's got some form of technology transformation that they're doing, data science, et cetera, et cetera. So you have to create capacity. You have to prioritize it. You've got to make it somebody's number one goal to drive AI. You've got to create time. Like there's a lot of create time for people to learn. Like not that you give them free time to just do whatever you want, but like you have to create, like it's a new skill set for everyone. And like you don't just learn it by, I'll just do it. Well, you learn through doing, but you have got to create the time for that to happen. Yeah. So AI is absolutely transforming how we work, what we work on, what the product needs to be. There's an old saying, or not an old saying, obviously not an old saying because it's about AI, but like there's a saying that like AI won't replace people. People who can use AI effectively would replace people. So like you've got to you sort of got an obligation for your team, for the people who work with you and for you, that we build their skills in that area. Frankly, 5 or 6 years time, like nobody's going to get a job in engineering if you're not able to. 5 or 6 years time, 1 or 2 years time, if you're not able to leverage AI for those unit test cases, for that documentation, for whatever it is, prompting for a new feature that you're developing. If you don't, you're not going to get. People aren't going to hire you. Like there's going to be an expectation. Exactly. QA every area. So you've got an obligation as somebody who leads the company to make advances in that area, but you've also got to think an obligation to your team to create the time or the environment that enables that growth and
future-proofing there.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's a great point, yeah. Hey, thanks a million. I genuinely really appreciate it, and I've loved the conversations on so many levels. So nothing but the best for your continued success in your career.
Thanks a million.
Hey, cheers.